and welcome to Champion Taekwondo. Now, whether you've just finished your first lesson or you have tested for your white belt, here's a little review of everything we went through on your first day. So the first thing we would have went through, of course, is an instructor's title. Now in Taekwondo, we like to use our last names. So for example, my name is Mr. Dumoulin. You can also call me Mr. D for short. If you were working with Miss Stratichuk, you can also call her Miss S. When you answer a black belt, we always say nice and loudly, "Yes, sir," or "Yes, ma'am." Usually that follows with a bow. "Yes, sir." "Yes, ma'am." Next thing we would have went through is how to do the bow. Now every martial art bows a little bit different. In Taekwondo, our bow looks like this. We're going to start by putting our feet together and we're going to point our toes out, creating that letter V. Out here, we take our hands, we make a light fist, and we're going to put them out to the side. In Taekwondo, our hands aren't touching our legs, we have them placed out here. When we bow forward, we're going to say Taekwon. Taekwon. So the next thing we would have went through is how to form a proper fist. Now that's really, really important because as we learn how to punch, if we don't make a proper fist, we might hurt ourselves as we're punching. So let's start like this. We're going to bring our hands up here. Fingers open. And now we're going to bring our fingers closed. Now, we'll start to roll our fingers down. Now this is important here. A lot of people will pull their thumbs in as they roll down. We really don't want to do that because then our thumbs end up on the inside of our fist. So make sure as you're making your fist, roll your fingers down, keep the thumbs pointed out, and then place the thumb on the bottom of the fist. Your wrist should be straight. We shouldn't have any bending going up or any bending going down. Nothing side to side. We form a nice straight fist. So another ready position that we do is our chumbi. And chumbi means ready in Korean. So when you hear an instructor say, "Chumbi," that means we're going to bring our hands in front in those fists, bring them in front of our stomach, don't let them touch your body, make sure your hands are away, and your fingers and fists should not be touching. So have them out on our chest lines in front like this. So next, let's go through our single punch. So the single punch here, we're going to stay with our feet shoulder width apart. We're going to put our hands in those fists that we made. And we're going to keep one hand up to punch. We're going to bring the other hand onto the hip. Now as we punch with that hand that's on the hip, we're going to pull the other hand back to our other hip. And we will change places as you hear the instructor count. When we do our single punch, we can breathe. So when you hear the instructor count for those punches, we go out. Or sometimes the instructor will have us kia. And the kia is that martial art yell. Kia! 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 So next, we're going to go through the front block. Front block, we start by making a muscle up here. We're going to bring both hands up here. Now the front block is that sweeping block that comes across our face. So one hand is going to go while we pull the other hand to the hip. So we'll start by bringing our hands up here, sweep your arm across, and pull the other hand down to your hip. Now, when this one goes away, this one's going to come in play. So when you hear the instructor count, you're going to bring the other hand up and sweep it across. And then again, and again. Now it's important as you do the front block, make sure your fist stays pointed up to the ceiling because we don't want our front block to look like this. We keep those hands up as we do our front block. So now let's go through our sparring stance. So this is really important because if we don't make a proper sparring stance, we're not going to be able to protect ourselves very well. So the sparring stance will look like this. You start by bringing your hands in fist up to your chin. When you hear the instructor say sparring stance, 준비, you're going to take a big step back with your right foot. When you step back, you yell, Kia! So let's try that again. From here, our hands will come up, sparring stance, 준비, Kia! Now sometimes you'll hear the instructor say, switch! And there, you're gonna jump up, switch your feet, and yell, Kia! Switch! Kia! So now let's go through some of the attacks in our sparring stance. So let's put ourselves back into that sparring stance. We put our foot back, we have our hands up into our guard. We're gonna go through our double punch. So when we do this one, we're gonna punch with our lead arm, and then as we're pulling that hand back, we're going to begin the punch with our other hand. And we bring them back to our guard position. We punch one, punch two, and then come back. 2 punches, fast motion, looks like this. So let's go through our front snap kick. So place ourselves back into our guard position, hands up by our chin. Now even though we're doing a kick, it's still important that we have our hands up by our chin. So in fast motion, it'll look like this. Next, let's go through our self-defense technique, 3 pushes. So this one here, we start by stepping backwards and we put our hands up into our guard. But when we do this, our hands are going to be open in front. So we step back, we put our hands up, and we say, what do you want? We take another step back and we say, I don't want any trouble. We step back 3rd time and we say, stop! Now from here, the opponent, if they attack, we have to then defend ourselves. Now we're going to go through that front block. 1, front block, 2, and then from here, I've got that backhand ready for my palm strike. Kia! So let's try that again, and we're going to go a little faster this time. So we start here. What do you want? I don't want any trouble. Stop! Block 1, block 2, Kia! And so now the last thing you went through on your lesson was our champion Taekwondo code. So ready? Stand here, have your hands behind your back, and repeat after me. As a champion, I will discipline my mind and control my actions. I will respect and care for myself and others. Great job. Let's put our feet together, toes out, hands out to the side. Chariot, Kinye, Taekwon.